Speculation over who President Trump will pick to replace United Nations Ambassador Nikki Haley has begun. This comes following yesterday's announcement from Haley that she will step down at the end of the year.
The announcement came as a surprise to many administration officials. Paula Reid is following this story from Washington.
On behalf of the country, I want to thank you for a great job. Thank you.
UN Ambassador Nikki Haley managed to make a dignified departure from the Trump administration.
She's done a fantastic job, and we've done a fantastic job together.
President Trump said Haley first brought up resigning 6 months ago. But top officials were caught off guard by the announcement, including Secretary Pompeo and National Security Advisor John Bolton.
The United Nations has long been a hostile place for the state of Israel.
Haley has backed Trump's hardline stances on Israel and Iran, which often left her isolated at the UN. Last month, Haley slammed the anonymous colleague who wrote a critical op-ed in the New York Times. Haley said, "I don't agree with the president on everything. When there is a disagreement, I pick up the phone and call him or meet with him in person."
Thank you, Mr. President. It's been an honor of a lifetime.
In her resignation letter, Haley revealed a clue about her next move, writing to the president, "I expect you will appreciate my sense that returning from government to the private sector is not a step down, but a step up." Haley said in her meeting with the president yesterday she would not run for office in 2020. Recent financial disclosures reveal Haley is hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt, which could be alleviated by a lucrative private sector job. Her office says that her debt had no bearing on her decision to leave. President Trump said he could name Haley's replacement in a few weeks, even suggesting someone very close to him.
I think Ivanka would be incredible.
But the first daughter quickly dismissed that suggestion, tweeting, "That replacement will not be me."
So CBS News Washington correspondent Paula Reid is with us now from the White House. Paula, how big of a surprise was Haley's resignation?
The president says it wasn't a surprise to him. He alleges that he was told about this 6 months ago, and the two kept it a very closely held secret. We've confirmed that this was a surprise to other top foreign policy officials, including the Secretary of State, Mike Pompeo, and National Security Advisor John Bolton. Now, to the general public and to the press, this timing was surprising because this was a day where the president was expected to be doing a victory lap about putting his second Supreme Court justice on the bench. So the fact that they sort of diverted attention from all of that with this announcement was surprising. This also came just a short time after an ethics complaint was filed against the UN Ambassador Haley about her use of private jets. Now, we asked the president yesterday when he took questions before he headed off to a rally. We asked him about that. He said that he was not aware of that complaint and that it did not play at all into her announced departure.
So, Paula, let me play for our viewers a part of Haley's announcement with President Trump in the Oval Office, where she addresses the 2020 presidential election because a lot of people had suggested that she might be a contender. Let's play it.
For all of you that are going to ask about 2020, no, I'm not running for 2020. I can promise you what I'll be doing is campaigning for this one. So I look forward to supporting the president in the next election.
So there is still a lot of speculation about her political aspirations, and the fact that she sort of tried to get ahead of that was telling because that's the question that a lot of people have. And she could say whatever she wants now in 2018. Question is, what do we know about her plans going forward?
We only know what she said, both in her resignation letter, where she seemed to hint that she was likely heading to the private sector, and then what she said there, sitting in the Oval Office. If she did make public her plans to run in 2020, she probably wouldn't have gotten that friendly photo op yesterday in the Oval Office. But it is understood that she has a long-term political plan. She is still very young. She's obviously governor of South Carolina. There is some speculation that Senator Lindsey Graham could be heading towards some sort of promotion or additional job in the administration. If there was to be an opening, that is a possible place where she could sort of be slid in. And she has set herself up well. As I said in that story, this was a pretty dignified departure from an administration that has fired people via tweets and often criticized people, sort of pushing them out or forcing them to resign or withdraw. So she has set herself up well. She was just lauded with praise from her boss there. So if she has any long-term Republican ambitions, here she has the support of a Republican president.
Yeah, she definitely exited graciously, a feather in her cap for sure. Paula, so let's look forward. Who could possibly take her place as UN ambassador?
Well, one person who is not going to take her place is the first daughter, Ivanka Trump. While the president did float her name when he was talking to us yesterday, she shot that down. She tweeted that she will not be the replacement. There's also some nepotism laws that actually could make it very difficult, if not impossible, for her to be appointed to that position. They were able to get around those to have her employed here at the White House. But for a position like UN ambassador, that may not be possible. The president says he's narrowed the list down to about 5 people, including former Deputy National Security Advisor Dina Powell. She's someone with Trump White House experience. She is thought to also have a command of the issues and have the relationships that you would need in a job like that. And there's also some unexpected names making that short list. We have learned that Joe Lieberman, the former U.S. Senator and 2000 Al Gore running mate, is also among those being considered. But as you can see, the president is once again playing sort of one of his favorite roles, which is similar to what he did on The Apprentice, which is a high-profile hiring decision.
You know, Paula, it's interesting because, as you point out, if the first daughter were to be named, she would face a very difficult confirmation process in which she would have to open up the books about her financial dealings. But I was curious about another point that Ambassador Haley made when she gave the announcement, where she talked about Jared Kushner and how he's I think she called him a hidden genius.
Yes.
So his father-in-law is a stable genius, Jared's a hidden genius. And is that a name that's been floated?
Not so far. Again, I think it would be very difficult for the president to get around the nepotism laws for a position like UN ambassador. It's one thing to have them employed here in the White House. That seems to pass muster with the legal experts in the federal government. But appointing them to UN ambassador just probably it wouldn't be possible. But you're right. She went down the whole Trump family tree. Melania got a shout out. I think she was first on the list. She went down through the whole Trump family, giving each of them praise. So she's clearly trying to leave with her relationships intact for whatever position she attempts to pursue, or for what other issues may come out of the woodwork to explain her sudden departure.
All right, Paula Reid, thank you.